So what is cyber insurance? Effectively, it is a multi-section policy which provides insurance protection for both first-party and third-party losses. And it's designed to protect your business from the multiple variations of cyber exposures that you face. Now, there is no standard cyber liability policy in the market. There's no common forms. There's currently 10 products available in the New Zealand market. But each has its own list of coverage options available, sublimits and exclusions, which is great for consumers on one hand because obviously so many different options exist. It does, however, mean that you really need to be interacting with a broker that understands the intricacies of the respective policies that are available. So they place your cyber insurance with the product that's purpose-fit for your particular industry. So as mentioned, cyber insurance provides first-party and third-party loss. First-party losses are those costs that are directly incurred by your own business. A few examples there on the screen: cost of repairing your networks or damaged data by an event, forensic costs to ascertain the extent of an event, or extortion costs, also known as ransomware, with a threat of an attack or an attack on your IT infrastructure. Third-party losses obviously relate to costs incurred by external parties for which you or your business become legally liable to pay. A few examples on the screen: claims for compensation from third parties, any costs of investigations which may be carried out by regulators, and any resultant fines or penalties that may arise from those investigations, and also any associated defence costs. There's usually 6 main areas of cover that are provided under most policies. First being around security and privacy breach or liability. Now, as business owners, we all hold more data than ever before, and often this data belongs to customers and suppliers. Non-disclosure agreements and commercial contracts often contain warranties and indemnities in regard to the security and management of that data. And these warranties, they can trigger expensive damages claims in the event that you experience a breach. Increasingly, consumers are also seeking legal redress in these situations. So in the event you were to suffer some form of breach, and maybe from a contractual perspective, you had a financial obligation to a third party, this is the particular area of a policy that would respond. Privacy, regulatory defence and penalties. Now, many countries worldwide have privacy-related laws in place that stipulate the purpose for which you may collect and the means by which you must control personal data. If you have a data breach, certain regulatory bodies are entitled to bring charges against the company if they feel the laws haven't been complied with efficiently. So this particular section of a policy would respond to your legal defence costs and any expenses arising from a civil regulatory action. Crisis management costs and notification costs. Now, breach notification laws are slowly being introduced internationally. These generally require businesses that do lose sensitive data to provide written notification to those individuals that were potentially affected. If financial information is included within that personal data, there's often a requirement for 12 to 24-month credit monitoring to be provided in relation to the particular credit card or bank account that's being exposed. So this section will obviously cover the notification costs as well as responding to credit monitoring. In relation to the crisis management side of things, I think any business really lives and dies by its reputation. You can ensure your reputation in the event of a security breach underneath a cyber policy. So when your systems have been compromised and you run the risk of losing the trust of your loyal customers or suppliers, which can harm your business far more than the actual immediate loss from the cyber event, this particular section would actually give you access to funds that you could be used to access a public relations firm to work with you to help to restore that trust. Cyber extortion, also quite often known as ransomware, effectively involves an attack or a threat of an attack against your IT infrastructure, usually coupled with some form of demand for financial payment or money to stop the attack. So this particular section of the policy is the one that will respond to cover the ransom amount required by the attacker up to whatever sublimit exists within that policy. One really important thing we need to stress is you need to get approval from your insurer before you pay the ransomware. The insurers often have their own IT experts internally that may want to try and see if they can unlock your data or your system themselves. So don't go ahead and pay that money in advance and then look to recover it. Make sure you seek approval from your insurer first. Cyber business interruption. As the name suggests, this is a section of the policy that will cover any resultant loss of profits following a cyber event. Now, there's actually a common misconception in the market in general that standard business interruption insurance will respond to that type of loss. That's incorrect. For access to a standard business interruption policy, you usually need to have some form of material damage loss at your place of business operations. So a fire or a storm, natural disaster events, things of that kind of a nature. In lieu of those sorts of events, you usually cannot access standard business interruption policies. So it's quite crucial if an interruption to your business operations systems or a data breach would have an impact on your profit levels, that you have the cyber business interruption section included. Also important to note, most insurers have a time access applicable to this section, usually 12 to 24 hours. And then finally, crime. This is the section of the policy that responds to all the different types of cyber crime activities that currently go on in the industry. It'll cover the financial loss that you suffer, as well as any costs that you incur to fix vulnerabilities within your system. The crime section quite often is not standard included, it's an add-on. So when you're going through the process of organising your own cyber insurance protection, just ensure that the crime section has been incorporated into whatever final arrangements you make.